you so much for stopping by. Now, all of us, we have been created with some level of very unique idiosyncratic traits, something that is uniquely ours, that it's only you who can bring a certain thing to the table. Your uniqueness makes you stand out. But you live in a world where this is a trait that especially the younger generation are not willing to fully embrace. Even some older people that have, some people you would consider a bit mature and should know better. And I think this has been brought about by the advent of social media, where we're losing ourselves. There's a lot of comparing, there's a lot of things that is going on in social media that is bringing with it these insecurities and this idea and norms that are quite different from what we are supposed to be having, that now forces us to think that we must act a certain way, we must look a certain way, and this is not acceptable and this is acceptable. So in this whole madness, cocktail of madness, you find that we are losing ourselves, and it is becoming increasingly difficult to stand out because people are afraid to stand out, and instead it's becoming very easy to just fit in and blend with the crowd because this is what is expected. I think it is important for especially the younger people, I think those are the ones I'm speaking to right now, to understand the importance and the power that we have when we can stand in the truth of who we are and what we are bringing to the table, and have confidence in our abilities and in our decisions and in our opinions and in our thought process. It's important to have confidence in who you are and in your value system and everything else that you feel represents who you are. But you can only have that level of strength if you fully show up as your unique self, with your quirky self, with your weird self, with all these ideas that you have, with your gifts, with your strengths, with your weaknesses, and all these things that makes you up, that makes you to be this unique person. But you can't realize that if you're busy trying to blend in. You're busy trying to do what everybody else is doing and running with the crowd. When you do that, you lose yourself in the process. And so it is okay to be different. Your strength lies in the uniqueness of who you are and what you're bringing to the table. And I think some of this is out of fear, others unfounded, others because of the societal norms that we have to deal with today. And some of this is out of socialization, I believe. And maybe you found yourself around people who don't appreciate the uniqueness and what you're bringing to the table as yourself. In such situations, you find that you want to dim your light. You want to not show up fully as yourself because you're afraid to offend, because you're afraid to shine a bit bright than the people around you because of the insecurities that is going to cause. You're afraid to upset the status quo. And so in the end, you are doing yourself and the rest of us a great disservice, because there's something that only you can bless us with, and that is your uniqueness. In areas that you find you have some weaknesses or things that you need to work on, you do that. But in the areas that you know your strengths and who you are and the power that is, the powerhouse that you are, then I would encourage you not to be afraid of walking in that truth. I'm not saying be arrogant. I'm not saying be disrespectful. And I'm not saying that be cocky. You can still be confident and assertive and still be respectful at the same time. But what I'm saying is, don't diminish yourself. If you find yourself in an environment that requires for you to minimize your potential, to minimize your capabilities, to minimize your brilliance, then you are in the wrong room. You have no business being around situations like that or around people like that. You should always see that you are in spaces where you can thrive and you can be all that you're supposed to be. Okay, so in the age where everybody wants to just be running around with the crowd and to do what everybody else is doing and to live according to these standards that keep changing on a daily, please be yourself, walk in your uniqueness, walk in your greatness. Don't be afraid to stand out. If you have the conviction that what you're saying, your thought process, and what you're standing on that moment is the truth according to how you know it, stand on it, even if you're the only person and everybody else is on the other side. Because I realized that staying in situations that takes away from who we are is the worst thing. I think you're dishonoring yourself and you're disrespecting yourself. There's nothing wrong with the fact that you don't think like everybody else. If you have the conviction that what you're saying is right according to where you stand at that moment, then that's okay. That's okay if everybody else disagrees with what you have to say. But also, this is not to say that you should be a rebel without a cause. That is not what I'm saying, okay? So anyway, stand in your uniqueness. Nothing is wrong with you. Nothing is wrong with you, your unique gifts and talents. Just find ways of living and all these things serving the greater purpose of why you're even here.